Are you ready for another season of Guys at the Bar Talking Sports?
Go Dogs, save 'em. Go fight, win, kick ass, go Gamecocks.
Woo Pig Suey, go Hogs.
Go Big Blue.
Let's go Oregon, go Cox.
Go Blue.
Oh yeah, go Giants. Yeah.
Let's go Mariners.
Who is that running out of the tunnel? No, it can't be. It's the Giant Killers, the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Let's go Webster. Go Tigers, baby. Wake up the Echoes. Go Irish.
Go Gators.
Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports.
Are you really doing season 4 of that stupid podcast?
All right, to another week, another day at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, hanging out at our famous watering hole, MJ's Bar and Grill, world renowned because they are featured every week on Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. Come on and join us if you ever want to. If you're ever in Columbia, South Carolina, drink a beer with us. You can buy us a beer too if you'd like to. Hanging out around the microphone, let's stay tuned. We're going to be discussing NFL football this week. We're going to be discussing the playoffs, last week's game, and this weekend's games coming up. We might throw some basketball in there. I got some college football conversation going as well because we have not had a conversation about the biggest thing in the college football that's happened in a long time, and that is Nick Saban's retirement. We didn't get to talk about that yet.
I called that.
So we are going to have that conversation as well on Guys at the Bar Talking Sports tonight. Feel free to share the show with your friends. We have a great Facebook group. You can join that as well. Share that with your friends and hit the share button on your phone and share it with your friends. Send them an email about it or something. I don't know. Text them. So anyway, moving on. If you like the show and you like it enough to give us some money to buy some drinks because we have a hell of a bar tab every week, you can do that with Guys at the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. It's at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. So let's get some intros going here. We have somebody who I haven't seen on this show in a very long time hanging out in front of me right now. His name is The Rooster, and he's got some sort of whiskey drink going on over there. What you drinking,
We're about to
Rooster?
drink.
Just the typical bourbon and ginger ale, the liquid candy, as I refer to it.
That does sound pretty good. I don't think I've ever had a whiskey or bourbon and ginger ale.
Bourbon.
That's actually not bad. Yeah, it's awesome. I love
right.
bourbon and ginger.
Cheeks, you have two plastic cups over there.
Yes.
What is one of them, and what's the other one?
One is Brian's favorite drink. I'm sorry, Chief's favorite drink.
Okay. Don't tell who he is.
You don't know who this Brian guy is.
Yeah, who's this Brian guy? And then what's this other one?
The other one is Simply, the Simply juices. They make a seltzer.
Okay.
So I'm drinking the Sissy drink.
Is it a liquid, like an alcoholic drink?
It is.
Okay, cool. All
It's
right.
only 4%, but whatever.
We got my man, the Chief. Does not go by a guy named Brian. What are you drinking, Chief?
Club soda with lime.
Nice. All right. And we have the Rebel. And we're not going to ask you what you're drinking. We're going to ask you what you're typing
very
over
excited
there.
about the Rebel.
What's that?
The Rebel. I'm not going to ask you what you're drinking because we already know.
Always. It never
Bullet
changes.
and Diet, right?
Makers and Diet.
I know. I'm kidding, man. And then we do have
Don't say Jack. That would be fighting words.
Jack. We have Chopper over there drinking some dark beer. What is that?
What is going on? This is a Kentucky Vanilla Cream Ale. It's amazing.
Sounds good.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's delicious.
That's a bourbon barrel ale. So
Oh
that
my
thing's
God.
about
And also-
12% alcohol.
Yeah.
Is it really? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Don't drink 3.
All right.
It's so good. When it hits your lips, it's so good.
So I think
Only gonna do
this is Noda. So it's a beer from somewhere in, I don't know where Noda is at. Is that
Noda is right outside of Charlotte.
Charlotte? Okay, so it's Noda Jam Session Pale Ale. It's actually pretty good, but it's a pale ale, and all pale ales taste the same, in my opinion.
Like no,
something like that. All right, we got to get into some conversations about what I talked about earlier. So let's go ahead and start that conversation real fast. Y'all know the name of the show. It's Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. And what do guys do when they talk sports at the bar? They drink beer. So if you want to buy us a beer, you can Venmo us. The Venmo is at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. All right, I had to cut it off, but here we are. We're back. All right, so let's talk about the biggest thing that happened in college football in the last 3 decades, I would say, right? And that is the best college football coach in the history of football coaching. I think we'd all agree with that. Did retire, and we have not talked about that on Guys About Sports yet, even though it was like 10 or 12 days ago that he announced his retirement. And we got to talk about that. So I know that my man Chopper has something to say about this, but because he was the arch nemesis.
I did call this a couple years ago and this year. After he bought that house
a stop
in Florida,
clock is right twice a day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
You call it enough, it'll happen.
Good for him. Greatest coach of all time. I'll give him that. I'll give him his props. He's a great coach.
How are y'all Auburn fans feeling now?
Alabama's still Alabama. Now they won't have the I think as an on-field coach, gosh, you can't beat him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're still going to get the players. I mean, when you are in this, and I say this, when you're in the state of Alabama, and you're playing football, you want to play for Alabama. Now, everybody wants to play for Alabama.
I would disagree with that a little bit. Yeah. Because a lot of people don't remember between Gene Stallings and Nick Saban.
No,
there were 3 coaches.
No, and
why? Because Alabama was not very good during them years.
But
from 1993-ish on, they didn't have a team worth a crap.
They still get the players.
Until 2008.
I mean, Florida gets the players now.
Yeah, but now
Alabama's
you got
still
NIL.
going to get the players.
NIL gets the players.
Well, and I'll say this: it's not like Auburn should be excited because already Alabama has a better coach than Auburn. But so Alabama is able to pull in that type of talent. However, it's a completely different type of offense that new coach brings to the table from Washington.
How much of Washington is
coming
down?
To comment like that from someone who doesn't know the SEC very well.
Well, you're right. I haven't lived down here for 17 years.
And neither does the coach of Alabama.
Well,
right.
Again.
And he may be a great football coach. Brian Harsin was a great football coach at Alabama. At Auburn. Great football coach. Still is a great football coach. You have to have relationships down here. You have to be able to recruit. You have to know
way
people.
Too many
you
good
have
old
to know
boys.
The systems. You cannot come in from South Dakota and build those relationships with people down there in the heart of Alabama. Sorry, it's not going to work.
It's from the South.
You didn't let me say my not so fast, because not so fast, because he does have an uphill battle at Alabama, because we're already seeing the transfer portal grow with Alabama names and some big names. So I think he's going to have a battle of building that trust, building those relationships, keeping the talent that he has, because we know that they have it. But I think some people did go to Alabama to play for the great Nick Saban, and those players are looking elsewhere. And tip of the cap to Nick Saban. If you look at the SEC, how many head coaches, were under Saban's watch?
I don't know. He's had more influence on the game than any coach that's ever coached at a college level. It's not even close. His name's right there with Bear Bryant at this point. 50 years from now, they're going to say their name in the same sentence.
Yeah, and you look at, when you look at Saban, just the very fact of who he is, what he's done throughout his career. If you have coached for Saban, if you have been one of his, OCs or defensive coordinators or whatever, you are going to have a head coaching job no matter what, somewhere, waiting for you just because of that. That's just, it's an open door.
It's a great reference.
It's a great reference I have, yeah.
And everything I've heard about Kalen DeBoer and everything I've watched, I like the guy. I'd play for the guy. I think he's a great coach. But building relationships is different in the SEC. I'll just say that.
I think Alabama's going to be looking at a similar coaching carousel that all these SEC teams get until they find the right one. Caleb, is it DeBoer? How do you pronounce his last name? DeBoer?
I've made a prediction. We'll see if it's as bold as I think it is.
Oh, what's that?
He's there for 3 years, and the new coach at Alabama is Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I feel like
Lord.
I feel like they're not going to give him as much of a shot at Alabama.
School he won't have coached at?
You don't give. I mean, he's like a freaking mercenary. Pay him the money and let him go. So, but I think that's how that shakes. I think that's what it shakes. Because look, the thing that I don't like about this man, the man's done so much. He's more than earned his right to ride off into the sunset. I mean, heck, if he don't do TV, I think he ends up with some high school coaching just because it's what he got into coaching for. What I don't like about it, it's the same thing that ran Krzyzewski off, ran Roy Williams off, ran some of these Jim Boeheim off, and other. No, it's true. It's this transfer portal, NIL stuff. Yeah. These are not why these guys got into coaching. Basically, they can't influence these kids anymore. It used to be, come here, I'm going to teach you the game, and oh, by the way, I'm going to make you a better human being in the process. They don't care. It's, it just came out that for next year, Ohio State has thrown $13 million down on the table of NIL money to build a team. I mean, they don't. These 18-year-old kids, they don't care who the coach is now. This is pay to play. They're going through the highest bidder, and that's not the environment Saban, wants to be in. And I don't blame him. I mean, it's already a hard enough battle to recruit every year. But when basically you're having to recruit every scholarship player plus your new recruits every year, or otherwise they're jumping ship, it's exhausting. I can't imagine.
What do you think about the argument that exact scenario now levels the playing field with what Nick Saban has always been doing? Have you seen that argument?
What, that he's been paying people and now it's levels
the
playing
field? Well, yeah, now
field?
everybody can basically do what he's been doing.
Well, again, to me, it's not about the NIL is a problem going to the highest bidder, but the problem that causes these coaches more heartache than the money is you can get pissed off and jump ship.
It's free agency
right now, you can now, because of the way the courts did these, shut down the second-year penalty rule, you can play for 4 teams in 4 years. Or you can be like the kid for Miami is going on his 9th year of playing collegiate football. So basically...
And making more money than a rookie in the NFL.
Correct.
No loyalty.
So the transfer portal is more the problem when it comes to this coaching stuff than the money is. The money, I mean, look, he's Alabama. He could go to some big donors and go, put the money down. And they would have done it. It's like Texas. Texas can go, put the money down, we'll bring this guy in. But you bring that guy in, he's there 1 year, gets pissed off because he don't get the reps he wants, he's gone. That's what they don't do. They don't want to have a brand new team every year.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk lately, and we're getting off subject a little bit on this, but there's been a lot of talk lately about how, the game, college football is
it's dead. It's done.
It's dead, or whatever. I mean, the thing is, and I said this a couple weeks ago, when you're watching football on Saturday, that doesn't affect you whatsoever. We're in the off season right now. That's why we're talking about this stuff. In the end, everyone wants to see their team do good. We all have our loyalties and so forth, If it gets better players there, that's great. But I think that you are going to end up seeing, 10 or 15 teams that pretty much dominate that. They're all going to be drawing those greater players or whatever. You're not going to have... You might have, all these 5 stars on one team like at Georgia, but I think that's going to start going away as well as these teams are going to start putting all their eggs in the one basket and then spread the love elsewhere among other players as well.
I think there's something to be said. Teams like Georgia, Alabama, when Saban was there, kids, 5-star players want to play at winning teams. They want a chance for the national championship. That still matters.
That's true.
Well, it matters, but what my point being with that is, if you find a team, let's use Oregon's a good team. They've been competitive. They just ain't gotten over the hump. You say, all right, we've got $20 million to spend on kids. All of a sudden, you can assemble a team at a school that's not traditionally going to be playing for a national championship every year, and now they are.
Well,
it's because you threw enough money down.
Let me throw one more thing out there, and that is the 12-team playoff system that's going to be introduced. Does that benefit teams that are heavily engaged in NIL because it gives them longer to gel, and if they're playing well at the end of the season, now they're not out of that top 4, they squeaked into the top 12. Now, people that are hitting their peak that might be 10th, 11th, 12th in the country are going to have a huge impact in the playoff system.
Well,
That's a good
and
point.
might stick around.
Because they can't hop into the portal. Well, they have to hop into the portal sometime between December and January. And if they're playing in the top 12 and they're playing,
they're not hopping in the portal.
They're not hopping in the portal right off the bat. That's for sure. Yeah. That might help out a little bit.
The only thing that I've said this many times, I go, the way you can at least put a little bit of air brakes on the portal is make the window to get into the portal after high school recruiting. Number one, you're not screwing these high school kids who've been playing their tails off trying to go to college. Yeah. And now, if you fill your roster with high school kids, okay, now you got to be real selective what goes in the portal, and you may have a moment where, like, I can tell you, outside of football and some of these other lesser-known sports, there's a ton of kids that go into the portal, they don't get picked up, and their career's over. Okay, it's a risk. With football right now, you take these top players, they can go play somewhere. They can drop to a lower division. There's stuff they can do. But if you take that, you put it on the other side of high school recruiting, that kind of keeps it in check a little bit because now these teams have got to be real selective on what they're doing. And again, who's really getting screwed in this? And this is really going down the rabbit hole is these high school kids that are right now trying to be recruited. Yeah. Because, again, basically they're waiting because these colleges are going, what can I get that's battle-tested, battle-ready versus this kid that's green now that I got to, try to coach them up a little bit.
This is a great segment on Nick Saban.
This is.
Well, no. So to your point, to come full circle with it, you see how much influence he has on this game, to where what starts with him runs off in all these different branches of how it's influenced this game, coming back to his departure and why he left. I mean, his departure is having so much influence on the game as it is him actually coaching because of why he left, and others going, well, damn.
Well, do you think he would have lasted at least 1 or 2 more years?
I think he'd stayed around 3 to 5 more years.
Nick Saban could have coached till he was 80.
Do you think he gets out and leads the effort against all the NIL stuff?
No, I think he just don't give a damn anymore.
He did spend some time in Washington, though, trying to preach against that.
If anybody could lead the effort in it would be him, right?
Maybe that's the case. I mean, I haven't heard anything about that, but that would be interesting to see if he starts trying to make a case. But, I mean, how do we reel in the NIL? How do we reel in the transfer portal? I mean, it would be nice if there was no.
Look, I'm the most anti-regulation guy you're ever going to meet, but when it comes to the competition, what we're talking about, they got to do something. They got to put it in some sort of box.
I mean, it's college football. You're allowed to have rules and regulations within a system. I mean, I'm against rules and regulations, like politically, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But that's for a different show. That's for a totally different show. But when it comes to like football, you have rules and regulations on the field. Yeah. You can't run out of bounds, with the ball and can keep on running and go score. Like there's a referee for that. There's no referee for college football. Correct. There's referee for SEC football. There's referee for there's.
Well, I think where this tends to rectify itself is I thought Chip Kelly was just rattling off, but the more you start to digest what he said,
it made a lot of sense.
It did, to where you don't have individual TV contracts and revenue shares across 50 teams or whatever it is. Now, for me being a Group of 5 fan, it sucks because we're about to be relegated to 1AA again just because we'll never be able to compete and keep up, nor will we have the opportunity because they're going to play all within those 50 teams. But again, that's what we can talk about next week.
But listen, those Group of five teams, as they get better, UCF moves into the Big 12. You had, a lot of these teams.
But what Chip Kelly talked about is you wouldn't have conferences anymore. You would have one big 50-team not conference, but one group that played regionally and then would play the other side of the country a couple games each year and rotate that around. You wouldn't have this conference, this conference, this conference.
Yeah.
The only way what you're talking about is let them start relegating people. Then we start having some fun.
Yeah.
Let's go to EPL rules.
I hope that does not happen. So let me say this: I have not seen a major group of players leaving Alabama the way that I thought they would, right?
They've had plenty.
You've had some, but they're still
not like Washington.
But they're still looking at the fourth. They're the fourth best recruiting class in the country right now for high school. So those players are not really going.
Well,
anywhere.
you just had what their top quarterback recruit last year, who's the top-rated quarterback in the country, just decommit. Now he's going to Ohio State.
Yeah.
And then if you look, I'm going to say they lost 5 or 6 4-star players that were on the roster to Florida State. Florida State is just picking Alabama apart right now.
That makes no sense to me that you'd go play at Florida State over Alabama. But then again, brand new coach, you might not fit into his system. Who knows? You know, there might be a little bit of shoving people out.
I think the idea there, if I'm a player at Alabama, I'm looking at Florida State as on the up and up, and I don't know what's going to happen at Alabama.
Are you on the sinking ship?
And Florida State is on the up and up now because next year, all they got to do is win the ACC championship to be in the top 4 and have a bye in that
Not
first
only that,
round of
but
the
let's
playoffs.
face it, Florida State was undefeated last season, despite losing their quarterback 2/3 of the way through the season. If that quarterback was there, they would have been in the national championship. If they continue to recruit and have backups like an Alabama, like a Georgia, and not worry about their second string quarterback because they're going to have somebody that can come in and play a game that's not even a conversation.
To your point, and I don't remember who it is, because I didn't know this conversation. They've had 2 big-time transfers come in at QB. I'm one of the 2 that easily start at any other program, so they've gotten their starter and the big-time backup.
They were going to fix that.
Yeah, absolutely. They weren't going to be in that same place again.
I mean, thinking about this, and we're way off on a tangent with this Saban.
Well, you said this, we were going to wing it.
We're winging it, right? But thinking about it, the Big 12 and the ACC, there's going to be one team that dominates those conferences, and that's it, right?
Maybe.
Florida State is
No, they're not going to dominate.
Is not going to the ACC. Florida State.
Oh, he's saying Cuse is coming. Ooh. That's what he's saying. He's saying Cuse is coming.
That's possible, but you're gonna.
It could also be SMU, right?
Yeah, it could be anybody, but right now you got Florida State, Clemson. Clemson's on the way down, but they're saying I feel like they're going to be coming back up.
No, yeah. I think Dabo is going to be the next one that says this is not the world I came to coach in, and he walks too.
He does not walk. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I don't think he walks. Young. If you listen to Dabo, if you listen to his lingo, it was almost like he was justifying 9-3. So I don't know that he's going to walk. I don't think when you say those things out loud as a coach and you accept mediocrity, that's when you start going downhill. So I think Clemson is on the way down for sure. I think they're still going to be competitive, and I still think it's going to be a tough win for anybody. However, when you have a coach that is talking about, hey, 7-5, 8-4, 9-3, that ain't bad. That means you're accepting mediocrity from a team that was in the national championship running 2 years in a row and won one of them.
That's
true. You
true.
can't have those conversations when you're an elite coach in an elite program.
That's true, and if your players are hearing that, then
and
that
your
gets
recruits
into their
are hearing
heads.
that, and if you're a transfer hearing that.
Speaking of coaches, do we think that Jimbo Fisher ever comes back and returns?
There's no chance. He's making way too
No
much money
chance.
sitting on
Never
his butt.
comes back.
I don't think he ever comes back. He's in his late 60s right now.
Jimbo Fisher?
Look it up. Look it up in the people in the back. Someone look it up.
Jimbo Fisher.
Call the producer.
Like,
Call Bear.
I would say 54.
55. Okay.
Hold on, I got it right here.
Yeah, so Jimbo Fisher. If he isn't, he's in his mid 60s. 58.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I was way off.
Yeah, he's got
if you want
time.
if you want to talk about young quarterbacks or young coaches, you talk about Fran Brown at the Syracuse University football program right now and the energy that's going on in Syracuse, New York. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if in the ACC 1-2 Florida State and Syracuse.
So didn't Syracuse? They went 6-0 start the season this year.
Somebody check. How much have you had to drink?
Yeah. Hey, go ahead and look at your transfer portal. Syracuse right now is a top 10 transfer portal team.
And
Can UNC Chapel Hill say that? No, they cannot.
And they never have to play in bad weather. That's a selling point.
Well, I will tell you that one of the things that's benefiting Syracuse may hurt them, but benefits them is that they're with all the restructuring of the ACC, they have an incredibly easy road to be possibly a one-loss team next year if they can put the pieces together with their new coach.
An incredibly easy road to play in the ACC championship and possibly win, and then be in the top 4.
If it's incredibly easy,
it doesn't matter. All they have to be is in the top 12.
No, I know, but if you win your conference, then you get a bye week. So,
doggy.
Wouldn't that be insane if that happened?
Listen, I'm calling it right now. There's going to be 4 teams in the Final Four next year. Calling it right now.
I mean,
bold
right now.
prediction there.
Right now.
Oftentimes,
right now.
When you
cross
the goal line,
it will be all SEC.
That's a touchdown.
And I'm the guy who said there would be no SEC in it this year.
Okay, so
which I was almost right on.
I'm gonna do
1 out of 4 ain't bad.
60% of the time, he's right all the time.
I'm gonna do a complete 180.
Good. We got to move on.
We're gonna go on to another topic that I wanted to bring up. And at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of hoopla last year, right around this time, when a certain coach went from a traditionally black university over to the University of Colorado, right? Went and coached the Buffs. We got Deion Sanders, by the way. And then he went and he fired everyone on the team pretty much, basically told them to hit the portal, went out and found a team, did well. They won 3 games in a row. 3 games in a row. All the rage. People were saying they're the national champions already. They got the Heisman Trophy candidate ready. Just give it to them now. All this stuff. The hype was insane. The hype was going crazy. They even took College Game Day there to watch them against Colorado State. Like, it wasn't even that big of a game. And all of a sudden, it's the rage. They're in the top 25 even. And then I don't think they won a game after that, did they? They won one game after that?
They won 4 for the whole season.
4 for the whole season.
But his son sold a lot of merchandise.
He sold a lot of merch.
Oh, yeah. Between him and his son, he's probably making as much or more money than he ever made in the NFL. Yep. I mean, but I do want to say...
I mean, I started buying almonds because of it.
From going from a little dark humor joke here, I would say he stubbed his toe if he had one.
God, that's so mean. All right. So
there's some people that'll say you're cruel and they'll cuss you out and berate you online.
Okay. Please be a part of guys at the bar talking sports on Facebook to comment on that one. It was Rebel that said that.
Oh, that's not right.
I just saw her.
His name is Stephen Smith. If you want to know his real name, yeah. So this is the thing. Colorado's going into the Big 12 next season, so they're going to have a chance to be,
part of mediocrity.
Yeah, because the Big 12 this next season does not have Oklahoma, they don't have Texas. There's not going to have.
They have K-State.
Yeah, for basketball, that's great.
Well,
K-State was good last season.
Yeah, they put on a decent. They lost. They had bad losses.
But can they be consistent? Can K-State?
That's what I'm saying.
Kansas? Can Baylor? Can TCU? Can these?
Can they beat Colorado? Yes.
But can they be consistent?
TCU didn't last year.
Yeah,
we talked about TCU after week 1 of last year. Okay?
Yeah.
TCU lost 17 starters from the season
they got
before.
Decimated.
Okay, so going beyond the TCU game, got some sidebar program stuff going on. Going beyond TCU, who ended up mediocre once they started getting some of those young guys playing. But I think it's still competitive, more competitive than what Colorado played, which is scary because this was the best season the Pac-12 had in at least 5 years.
So they're maybe playing harder teams in the Big 12.
Allegedly harder teams.
Allegedly.
Again, Pac-12 this past year was the best it's been in at least 5 years.
Yeah. So I think if you look at the Pac-12 4 years ago, before last year, Colorado was playing a pretty simple schedule and still losing like crazy. Then this season they won 4 games. But my question on this is this: are we going to be looking at Colorado being hyped up in the beginning of the season like they were last year, or has that train left the building?
Did you hear about Colorado toward the end of the season? Were they in the news? I don't remember.
The hype isn't going to be there. They will be better than they were last season. They may not start off as hot, but they will finish better than they finished this season. He'll be better. I mean, he's a good coach. He'll get them where they need to be.
People will still pay attention. He won't be at the top of the news page again until he upsets a team.
That hype last year, they weren't playing anybody.
No, it wasn't
worth nobody.
It wasn't worth the hype.
Teams, they got their asses kicked.
They were playing nobody.
Look, last year he was that girl you met at the bar, half drunk, brought her home, and thought she bagged you a dime piece, and then you woke up the next morning and went, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Okay,
Coyote ugly.
That's what. Yes, chew my arm off and keep riding on. Right. So next year,
1 bagger or 2 bagger?
Next year it's going to be one of those things where they'll pay attention because he's going to make sure you know who he is and where he is.
Yeah.
If he starts upsetting some teams, goes into Oklahoma and wins.
Oklahoma's not going to be in the Big 12.
Correct. You're right. Fuck. See, this shit's got me all out of sorts.
Oklahoma, Texas are out. I mean, even an Oklahoma State win,
Oklahoma State, K-State win. Either one of those.
Any of those will be valid.
When he gets a signature win, he'll be all over him. He's got to get a signature win.
I'm going to get used to that.
He's got to get a signature win.
One signature win, so...
I mean, like a...
He does it non-conference.
Yeah. Now, they do play Utah next year, I believe. And that if they win that
Utah is going to be good this coming year.
Yeah, they should be.
Utah's never not going to be competitive with where their program is right now.
Right, but their quarterback, who was really good, who then was out like the last 5 games of the season,
again,
he's coming back.
But yeah, that's the 3rd year in a row. 2 years in a row, he hasn't been able to finish the season because he plays reckless and abandonment.
Well, Joe Flacco will be looking for a job. Can he resign for college?
He reminds me of, and we're going to talk about NFL a little bit, but he reminds me of Allen from the Bills. Like, the guy's just out there slinging the ball, and either it's really, really good or it's really, really bad, and he gets hurt because he's just out there throwing his body around.
Well, let's talk about some NFL then.
Good transition.
That was perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that. So, that gets us off of the Dion. I just wanted to bring that up, and the only reason why I said that is because there was so much hype last year. It started around now, and it went through about at the end of September, and then it was done. So last weekend, I don't want to
start with Jim Harbaugh
next week.
No,
Hold
he
on.
just did his second interview with the Chargers. He's one there.
He's staying right where he's at.
He's going to the Chargers.
The Chargers are not going to spend the money. We have already agreed that the Chargers are a crap franchise, and they're not going to spend the money to lure.
So you think this is all leverage to get more money from Michigan?
I think it's 100% more money to get leverage from Michigan.
Bottom line is the Chargers don't even spend money on their players. They're not going to spend it on the coach. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure that Michigan makes it so he cannot get fired. That was the news earlier this week.
He wants a Jimbo deal.
Say what?
He wants a Jimbo deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He wants. But he won a national championship at Michigan. Yeah. They're not going to let him go anywhere. I just don't see that happening. Yes, you cannot get fired right now. Yeah. You're not going to get fired for any of this stuff that's going on the last couple seasons. And by the way, here's $150 million or whatever.
I've heard the number he's floated is 135.
Yeah, I mean
at Michigan.
And he'll get it.
That'll buy some firewood for that.
He'll get it.
And with the term like 15 to 18 million a year, something like that.
All right, Chiefs and Bills. Chiefs played the Bills last week. I thought that was a pretty darn good game, right? I was hoping the Bills would win. I'm not a big Chiefs fan. Did anyone else watch that game? And what were your thoughts? Beginning, middle, end, whatever.
Jason Kelsey's awesome.
Oh, good Lord.
All right, so that's the story of the game is Jason Kelsey coming out.
Can we not hear from the Swifties first?
No, not Travis.
So the Bills came out and dominated.
One person at a time.
The Bills came out and dominated them up the front, right?
Yeah.
On the line, they were dominating them. And then Patrick Mahomes, in his own way,
he's a motivator.
He is, man. He is. He's a true winner, man.
The bottom line is the reason.
Bottom line, he's a winner.
Yeah, the reason that the Bills dominated the first half is because they ran the freaking ball down a weak Kansas City run defense. Okay, so the problem that I have with what happened with the Bills is once they got behind, they abandoned the run, and Josh Allen thought he had to throw downfield. If you look at that last drive when they missed the field goal, the last 2 plays before they missed the field goal.
Terrible play calls.
They weren't terrible play calls. He had underneath receivers wide open both plays, and he was looking to be the big cheese. Okay, so Josh Allen, I love the guy. I think he's an athlete. I think but he's reckless, and he's always looking for the big one. He does not manage the game, and with him, I don't know that the Buffalo Bills will ever win the big one until he can figure out how to slow down a smidge.
Are you a Buffalo Bills fan?
I was rooting for the Buffalo Bills. I'm from Syracuse.
Speaking of the big cheese, how do you not guard Travis Kelce?
Yeah, that's insane.
He is wide open.
Yeah.
OMG.
But he has a way.
You know everybody wants. It's like
Yeti.
wow.
But He has a way of getting open. Like those tight ends, it's typical in those big games that they're able to get open. It's just the way that.
Yeah, and I feel bad. The Bills missed that field goal. That kid. He's a local. He's from Columbia. He played at Dutch Fork High School.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but then he went to Georgia Southern, so I don't give him a pass. Piss on them.
So he's a great kicker, though.
Anyways, I think to everybody's point here, Hanger's point, like Chiefs played a great game, and they were able to be the better team at the end and put themselves in the position to win. The win was howling. If you got to tie the game by kicking a field goal to win the game in Buffalo, you've already lost.
Especially a game that you dominated up till pretty much the fourth quarter. At that point, then they played scared. They started playing scared. When you play scared, you either get too tight or you start playing stupid. And they did a little bit of both. And then here we are. You look like you had a team that stayed cool, calm, and collected. And if we're here at the end, we'll win the game. To another team like, holy crap, we got a chance to do this. And Scott Norwood came out to play again.
Oh, God.
10 points,
Still
guys.
the best Super Bowl I've ever seen in my life. Go ahead.
10 points scored in the fourth quarter sealed the deal for the 49ers.
They should have lost
over the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, Green Bay dominated until the fourth quarter.
If we can just take 1 minute, speed round. Let's talk about how good Green Bay is going to be for the next 5 to 7
Their
years.
quarterback is really solid.
Quarterback to the youngest team in the NFL. The last youngest team in the NFL that had I'll call it a mini dynasty. Anybody guess?
Don't say the Cowboys.
No.
It was the Dallas Cowboys.
I knew it was going to say that.
Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Irvin.
That whole front line.
To that point, though, are they coming up on people, surprising people, and then they're not going to be much of a surprise next year?
So here's
Or are they that good?
Well, no, the
They're
NFL
good.
don't allow that. The NFL don't allow that. This year, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Now, because of where you finish, your schedule adjusts. If you do better, you have a harder schedule next year. If they, to Rooster's point, if they compete next year with the skills, you remember 2 years ago, they were awful 2 years ago. So if they compete next year, having to play some of these division champions because they made it into the playoffs and they do what they did this year, he is spot on as long as they can pay them and stay healthy.
Don't you think Aaron Rodgers wishes he had never left?
I don't think they gave a crap about Aaron Rodgers anymore than they know
Yeah,
they had to love.
I don't think they give a rip.
But anyways, that's my 1 minute mark. Let's move on.
We are talking a lot about the team that lost, but what about the team that won? You got Brock Purdy, you got Christian McCaffrey. Like, that was a dynamic duo right there to win that game, don't you think?
Dude, I'm not being a 49ers fan, but how you can't like what they're doing and the team they're building and how they're going about it. I mean, I don't know. It's just they don't have these big high draft picks that's now doing. I mean,
I feel like last season we were talking about Brock Purdy.
We were.
And it was just like,
49ers.
holy crap, look at this guy.
Yeah, that was when they still had Garoppolo.
Their
and he went over
defense
the Ravens.
is the high draft picks, not their offense.
Fair point.
Do the underdogs make it to the Super Bowl?
Who's the underdogs?
No. One
Green
does, one
Bay
doesn't.
and Kansas City.
Green Bay lost.
Green Bay lost to the 49ers.
That's what I meant. No,
Lions.
Lions. I mean, that's
Lions.
what I meant. Lions
So
and Kansas City.
circle
That's what I
that
meant.
to
That's what I meant.
our
Lions.
Super Bowl
You said you were
picks.
saying that before. So Lions and Kansas City. Did they make it?
Well, we have to go through all of them.
That's what I'm.
We're getting there. We're getting there. So,
I'm real proud of it.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay?
Yeah.
Being the best of the worst in their conference, in their division or whatever, for the last 2 seasons, winning a playoff game and then barely losing last weekend to the Lions.
Yeah.
Lions are good, but Tampa Bay played some good football, and I think Baker Mayfield might get a
I want to
contract
scratch my
extension
eyes out.
for his
They
1
played
year.
in the NFC South. That's why they are there.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield had
only
a
reason.
good season for him, stacked up against everybody else.
Not so fast.
No bullshit. It's basically they are about to pay him $30 to $35 million a year to stay in Tampa. And I like Baker Mayfield, but I'm like, is that what it takes these days to have one good above average season?
I don't like Baker Mayfield.
I'll say this. I love the coach from Tampa Bay. If you look at their style of play, I bet you if you asked NFL players, what's the least favorite team you like to play? I guarantee you it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Why?
In the trenches, they're dirty as hell. Okay, you look at the games; they try to win in the trenches. I'm telling you, it's almost like a Steelers style of play from back in the 90s when the Steelers defense was just dirty, nasty, and you hated playing against them. Tampa Bay is kind of taking on that style a little bit. So I get it. Baker Mayfield, all he has to be is a game manager. You know,
Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer.
Trent MF and Dilfer, okay? Like, if you look at the style of play in the games that you watch, it reminds me a little bit of when
Trent Dilfer?
No. If you look at the games that the Panthers were playing when they had the interim coach last year, it was hard-nosed. It was hard-nosed football in the trenches, and people didn't want to play the Panthers because they were just jamming
just good enough to upset you.
They were just jamming it down your freaking throat, and you hated it. And at the end of the game, you hurt real bad. And NFL players don't want that style. They want the run and gun. They want all that stuff. Tampa Bay is a team you don't want to play because you're going to hurt real bad after whether you win or lose.
Ravens beat the crap out of the Texans, 34-10. Is Lamar
an Ohio State quarterback became an Ohio State quarterback?
That's not true.
But let me ask.
Oh my God! Every time you say something, he says the opposite.
CJ Stroud had a great season.
I said this game.
Rookie quarterback playing the number one team in the NFL against the number one defense in the NFL.
Let me direct this conversation a bit. We're not talking about the loser in this game. We're talking about the winner in this game, okay? Lamar Jackson putting up 100 rushing yards a game. Is that sustainable in the NFL? Because I was looking at him. This guy's running the ball a lot, putting himself into some challenging positions where he might get sideswiped, break a rib, tear a tendon.
Chiefs better get after him fast.
Is he being too risky in his career?
No.
If they don't get after him fast,
Works at
over.
Two different conversations. Is he being too risky right now? No, because you're about to go play for a Super Bowl.
Right.
Career-wise and longevity, as much as I hate his guts, I think he's a piece of crap. That's what ruined RG3. Was trying to play like Lamar Jackson is trying to play right now. It got his legs broken. Piss on him. Now I move on. And basically, though, Lamar Jackson, can he do that for 15 years? No. At some point, he's going to have to stand back there and be a quarterback, at which point he rides off into the sunset, probably with a couple Super Bowls and a lot of money in his pocket. But for right now, at this moment in time in the playoffs, you hand that sucker the ball and you run like you did in college at Louisville. Turn him loose.
And here's my difference for the Ravens this year. And there's probably going to be some contentment on this. But you got a rookie wide receiver that has emerged as one of the better wide receivers in the league. Zay Flowers is a force. So now he has a deep threat outlet guy that runs his routes to completion. I'm not sure that Lamar has had that in the past. He's had the long threat before in Hollywood. He's had the short threat with his tight ends. But he's never had a complete wide receiver. I think he has that in Zay Flowers this year. The Ravens, it's a Harbaugh coach. They're going to run the ball. They're going to do all those things. This is one of the most complete offensive looks that the Ravens have had in a long time.
All right, so
speaking of receivers, wait till you see those Auburn Tiger receivers next year. Boy.
Go backwards.
I'm telling you right now.
Let's stick with the Ravens, and we're going to talk about this week's game against the Chiefs.
Five stars. It's gonna be
best,
sick. It's gonna be sick.
Best team in the country right now. My friend right here,
he's got Tourette's.
He's got a lot to talk about. Do you need to take over the microphone for a minute here? This is all you, bro. You need the microphone?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Sorry.
So, Chiefs.
It's a Kentucky beer.
I think so.
It's legit.
By the way, South Carolina is whipping Kentucky in basketball right now. Just let me interject.
I'm sorry, the blonde.
Yeah, this is happening live as we speak. 66, and she's there, by the way. The blonde.
She's there.
The blonde.
And she said she was afraid she was going to jinx it.
Just a side note. Chances are South Carolina's ranked after this game. When's the last time that happened?
It's gonna be
they've only lost 2 games so far.
You know, when the blonde goes to see Kentucky play,
they lose.
They lose.
It is true. South Carolina did get whipped up a couple weeks ago by Alabama by about 30 points.
Yeah, and Alabama's not that good this year. All right, Chiefs versus the Ravens. I've been trying to say this for like the last 4.5 minutes, and no one will let me. So, Chiefs versus the Ravens. Ravens are the best team in the country right now. Do they have a chance against the Chiefs? I I mean,
the Ravens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the Ravens are going all the
No,
way.
Chiefs take them all the way.
You are out of your
Patrick Mahomes. I'm
okay,
calling
you
it
want to
right
go drink
here.
on that? You want to do a drink on that?
Patrick Mahomes.
This is our
Sounds
way,
like a challenge.
Wins this game.
No.
All right.
Hands down. Taylor
He-
Swift goes
he
to the
and
Super
Travis
Bowl.
are
They are not going to keep Taylor Swift out of the Super Bowl. I'm telling you right now.
Here's the
She's
X factor.
going to the Super Bowl.
The refs
People.
are going to make
I
sure
told
of it.
you that bourbon beer was 12%. I did warn you.
That is strong, man.
Good Lord.
You might as well,
Now,
might as well be
Chiefs-
drinking pints of wine.
I think the Chiefs have a sufficient defense to really put it to the Ravens offense, though.
Nah, the difference is.
Whoa. You got a run-heavy offense against a weak run-heavy run defense.
Is that where they're okay?
Oh yeah.
You're talking to the guy that doesn't watch a lot of NFL football.
No. This is one of those things of the Chiefs. The Chiefs haven't played a defense like this.
No.
I mean, I think they did play the Ravens early in the year, but this defense is hitting on all cylinders. They're somewhat healthy.
Did they play in the regular season?
I don't remember. For some reason, I thought they did, but I don't. Yeah, they had to.
Yeah, they lost to the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken,
they would have
did.
played. That's
They
true.
also lost to
It
the
was
Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we're not going to talk about the Eagles today because I know you might cry.
I will.
No,
I will lose
so
this
my
stuff.
so my projection on this game is I think the first half will be entertaining. There'll be things that keep
Where
it
you at,
entertaining, but in the same breath, I think by the end of the day, I think the Ravens win this by 10 or 12 points.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to
The
talk
Ra- but
about
the
college
Ravens
basketball.
are only 3.5 point favorites.
Yes.
All right, we're going to give Chief 30 seconds on North Carolina basketball. Go. Chief, go.
8-0 in the ACC, baby.
North Carolina Tar Heels, baby.
Yeah, did you see him play Syracuse last week?
I did not.
Did you see that Syracuse is 2-0 since that loss? Don't you worry about it. First of all, who in the ACC has UNC played? Nobody, besides Syracuse. Okay, Syracuse is a young team with a new coach. However, the X factor for Duke and for UNC is gonna be how they play against Duke. Okay, my assessment of Duke right now is tons of talent. Coach has some opportunities with how he's handling his talent. I would say toward the end of the year, when UNC and Duke play twice, that Duke splits with UNC, and then Duke will beat them in the ACC championship.
Nice. All right, so good segment over to
Just
back to the
smile and
NFL.
nod and move on.
That was a great segue back to the NFL.
I just love coming in going.
All right.
So,
All right. I gave Chief the basketball talk that we needed. Now we're back to the Lions versus the 49ers. Are the Lions going all the way to the Super Bowl this year, guys?
They
No.
are. They are.
No.
They are.
yes.
Yes.
I agree
I
with
want
that.
the Lions,
Lions are
but
hot right now.
realistically, it's going to be the 49ers.
The whole state of Michigan is hot right now.
The whole
Give a
state.
damn.
The whole
Just
state
so
of
you
Michigan's
know,
hot right now.
The last time that
They are.
the Detroit murder rate went down was 1971. Does anybody know what happened in 1971?
Did they win the Super Bowl that
They
year?
went to the playoffs and played in the NFC Championship. So
They've never won a Super Bowl.
the key to low murder rate in Detroit is to have a football team that makes it to the darn playoffs.
Let's go, Lions!
However,
right.
on the flip side of that coin, San Francisco City is not doing all that great either.
Start winning,
Okay,
stop killing.
so what's going to happen is San Francisco by 20.
All I know is this. Working for one of the
Really?
big three in Detroit, which is now the big two in Detroit, right? Working for them. One of those, I won't say which one.
What do you think the Chiefs are going to do?
Every email I get from somebody that's living in Detroit, it says, go Lions. You've never seen that at my company before, ever.
Here's the way I look at that.
There's a lot of excitement going on up there.
Here's the way I look at that game. Detroit, again, once you get to a championship game, it's kind of like getting into the NCAA tournament. What you did during the years out the window, you have a shot to do it. They had a shot to beat them. I think what a lot of people are just missing in this how close Green Bay came to beating San Francisco. They gave them a blueprint on how to do it.
Just for the record, Green Bay beat the Lions the last time they played in Week 13.
Understand? What I'm saying though is Green Bay showed you how to go at San Francisco. The thing is this, if they're going to blitz Purdy and they're going to blitz him again, because where Detroit is weak is in their secondary. Their secondary is not very good. So if he stands back there like a statue and can throw the ball down the field, San Francisco wins the game. If they can get after him.
You got notes. What do
they,
you got, Cheeks?
If they can get after him,
I have our Super Bowl picks.
Well, that was what we're going to talk about. Is our last call? Is what is your Super Bowl pick right now, and what was it when Cheeks heard it? And what week was that? Like week 4?
Oh my God! It was the 15th of August.
Okay, on the 15th of August, all of us called who our Super Bowl pick is going to be.
You were absent.
So,
but he picked it later. He picked it the next week. He went Cowboys and Chiefs. I think is who you picked.
Sounds about right.
I think you went Cowboys and Chiefs.
He picked the Cowboys the year before too.
All right, so
there's so many Cowboys haters. I got to go with the Cowboys.
No lessons learned.
All right,
Bourbon Barrel.
let's start.
Let's start with Rooster.
Let's start with Rooster.
Rooster picked the Dolphins and the Eagles.
All right, good choice.
You know,
Not really.
You're on track.
They were both playoff teams. You guys.
Yes.
Not really.
Yeah, they were.
So tell me who is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
My money's on the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
I think they have the best defense, despite how good the Ravens' defense is. And don't get me wrong, Ravens have the best linebacker core in the NFL, hands down. However, I don't have any faith in Lamar when it comes to winning big games. I put him on the same scale as Allen, and I think he's going to find a way to fumble the ball at the last minute. And I think that it's going to be San Francisco, Kansas City.
That's gross.
And San Francisco is going to beat the tar out of Kansas City.
All right.
All right, Chief.
Oh, you left hanging. Chief, who is going to win?
Wait, what was his picks?
Do you remember your picks? The Bengals and the 49ers.
Oh, you're
not bad.
50% chance.
Okay, so who's your pick?
I'm going to go with Lions.
The Lions. Okay. Nice. All right.
All right.
Who? We got the Rebel up?
We got the Rebel. The Rebel picked. Now he vacillated a little bit, but then nailed it. He went from the Bengals and the Eagles or the Lions, and then stuck on the Lions.
I knew it was you that said the Lions.
Now, what we did this when you put that up, what was interesting about this, and again, it's recorded. When Joe Burrow went out for the season, you had that pick. He says, "Who's your pick now?" I went Ravens, Lions.
You said Ravens, Lions.
Ravens,
at that
Lions.
point.
When Burrow went down with his wrist injury was done,
That was
I said
week
Ravens.
12, week 13?
We did another.
No.
We did
Week
another
3.
one in November.
Yeah. So this is in the middle of August before the season even started.
Ripper the
He
Predictor
said
is
the
losing
Lions.
his job.
He said the Lions.
And so who do I pick now? Ravens, Lions. Like I said, as soon as Brute went down,
right.
with the Ravens winning the Super Bowl.
Yes. And your pick? Do you remember who you picked?
I picked. I don't remember who I picked.
You and I picked the same exact one. The Bengals and the Eagles.
The Bengals and the Eagles, and
Yes.
both of us looked like schmucks.
Yes. Yes, we did.
It didn't age well.
That did not age well
No,
at
it
all.
did not.
That's right. But I had a lot of confidence in Joe Burrow.
And you should. And
The
then
guys-
he jacked his wrist up.
Exactly. So
And hit it.
who is going to win the Super Bowl? Chopper.
It's going to be the Lions versus the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to win in epic fashion.
2 in a row.
Taylor Swift is going to come on the field.
Oh, God.
Travis is going to propose to her after the Super Bowl.
Oh,
it's going to be so magical.
Dude,
It's
I'm
so
starting,
magical.
I'm
Can we
starting
all
to question
go?
your sexuality. I think
magical.
you're in the closet. I really do.
I think he's in the closet. All right. With that being said, luckily no one knows who he is, since he is still in the closet.
bless.
That is all you get from the guys of our talking.
Sports.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the
all right,
fuck?
give it to me. What the fuck?
No, you close it.
Nope. Don't give me your what the fuck.
I had one.
Give it to me then, quick.
It said, so basically, at this point,
Everyone thought we were done, but this is the bonus.
and
part
now
of
I
the
went
show.
back and now I done fouled up. Go ahead and
New
kill
Heights
it.
does it.
Lots of well,
Done. Kill it.
what the fuck? You can't even come up with what the
No,
fuck.
I had it and now I've lost it because I had it saved.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
The biggest what the fuck ever on Guys
Correct.
We're Talking Sports.